Great job.
Hi!
I'm Mike!
And I'm Jay.
And you know what's not a shit show? KINECT STAR WARS. This is a shocker, Jay. What? What are you looking for? The case? Use the force.
I've been playing KINECT all night.
Oh, I'm sore too. I feel like this was shown at E3 2010. Not 2011, but 2010. And there was so much negative feedback on the interwebs that I think they were listening and they're like, hey, we have to kind of tighten up the ship. We gotta make it a little bit better. We can't release this. It's not a terrible, terrible game.
I'll agree.
It's not a shit show, which is very surprising to us.
Very close.
Very close. We saw it in E3, and like if anything's going to be a shit show, that is going to be a shit show.
I think it's the first time in history we saw something that we thought was going to be shit, and it came out and it wasn't. It happened!
It's for kids, first of all, you gotta remember that. And yes, it destroys every dream you had about Star Wars if you're 30 and over.
I'm basing this personally on my take of Star Wars nowadays. If you're into the Clone Wars cartoon, there's something about this game that just gets you a little good.
It uses KINECT to its full potential, meaning you use everything. Every jump, every movement you can think of.
You start out and you're like, okay, this is what the game's gonna be, but then it switches it and you're like, okay, this, and then not again and again and again. And it keeps doing more, like more gestures and more movements, and I was like thinking, this is actually a decent game for KINECT.
Make sure that there's little breaks in between the gameplay so you don't have a freaking heart attack.
Yeah, and that's where the story fits in, and the story is really, 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 really copying the Clone Wars cartoon. I'd say it's on par with the cartoon.
And it takes place between episode 1 and 3. What you guys need to know...
Hey, your lip gloss.
Ooh, ketchup. The thing that you guys need to know is that these controls are not perfect, and they never will be on the KINECT. You can't, like, swing the lightsaber like this. It's just not that quick. You gotta slow down a bit, right? And the Force, it's not always responsive, and you can't really grab who you want. But for some reason, it's still fun. When you do grab a droid and you swoosh them out the glass to, like, the vacuum of space.
I'll admit it.
It's fun.
I'll admit, at some points in this game, it feels like you're really using the Force.
It feels like they did it.
Silly. By far, it's not perfect. When KINECT 2 comes out, and it will come out, and it's 1-to-1 ratio.
It's gonna come.
And they do a sequel to this game, oh god. That might be a must-own game. But this is almost a good game. It kind of is. It's not a shit show. A shit show is something where we play it and we're just destroyed. Our hearts are broken.
So what does help this game, it has the classic Star Wars music. That always helps. It's also very easy to jump into 2-player mode, where Jay could just jump into my game and start playing split screen.
Just like any other
and
KINECT.
Jump out, which is cool.
They try to connect the original trilogy to the prequel trilogy here by having R2-D2 and C-3PO are kind of your guides throughout the Jedi Temple, the Jedi Archives as they call them. The Star Wars dancing game in the game is actually sort of a joke to itself.
Hardcore Star Wars fans, nightmare. I think it's an FU to hardcore Star Wars fans.
I think it really is.
But
even in
it's
the game,
fun for a kid.
They say it's an error. Even C-3PO says that's an error in the Jedi Archives. Something's not right about that file.
Once you see Han Solo or Lando Calrissian dance, you'll understand.
That's like a fraction of the game.
It's like the Just Dance franchise, right?
Exactly.
Only Star Wars. So it works well, and it gives you a workout.
It does. The main gameplay really is better than we thought it would be. And that's why this is in the shit show. When you're actually fighting all of these different droids, yes, it's KINECT, and yes, it's not perfect.
It can be repetitive, and yes, it's sort of on rails.
Yes, but, I mean, to a certain degree, you can control your character, and when you're playing 2 players, it's actually kind of fun to, like, zoom in there and save your friends.
He did. You didn't.
Yeah.
There's not just one game mode here. There's actually 5 game modes.
The main campaign is Jedi Destiny.
The main story campaign where you learn to use the Force and the lightsaber in pretty much almost every game mode. The Rancor. And another game mode is Rancor Rampage. Pay attention, for God's sake. Rancor Rampage, and that's kind of silly. That's where you're literally a Rancor monster, and you kind of like go around Tatooine or any town, and you just destroy everything. You throw people. It's kind of like if you were Godzilla. Number 3 is the pod racing.
The pod racing in this is actually exactly the same as the KINECT is in Forza 4.
Yeah, you do this. And there's the Galactic Dance-Off, which we discussed, and that's just plain silly, but if you want a dancing game, you get a dancing game in this too, which is sort of cool, right?
Your girlfriend's there and she's like, oh, then you go, hey, look, dancing.
And then there's finally the Duels of Fate, where the player trains and eventually fights Darth Vader. So you fight boss after boss after boss, and then you fight Darth Vader. So that's just if you're into the lightsaber.
It's enjoyable.
Just lightsaber battles.
Yeah.
You got 5 things to choose from here. So you get a lot of bang for your buck. It's probably the best Kinect game since Kinect Adventures. Like, I haven't played anything that's better than this.
No,
Kinect-wise. The younglings are going to love it.
It's based on that, and unfortunately for us generation, there's not much content
Old
for
people.
Yeah, I mean, Darth Vader's their big deal.
So even though it's a good Kinect game, it's still not amazing. It's just passable. So what would you give it out of 10, J-Hoof?
I give it a 5.5. Very
5.5.
Very close to a shit show. I can tell they actually really worked hard to not make it really, really shit. They actually tried to make a decent, fun little game here. They didn't try to make it like...
The presentation's not shit.
Any kid that goes out there and is just ape shit about the Clone Wars, get them this game. They're gonna love it.
I give it a little bit higher, 6 out of 10. You know, the controls are not always accurate. It can be frustrating at times. But saying all this, it is probably one of the better Kinect games I've played yet. I think they did the best they could do with this technology. I'm excited to see what, what Kinect 2 can do. Oh! And it's lunchtime at the J-Hoof residence.
If you guys can like this video, it would really help us out. If you also share it and comment and favorite it, that's going to really help 3KB out.
If you already are subscribed, hit the subscribe button. There's going to be a little email checkbox that you just click, and that allows you to get emails every time we upload a video.
We have a special contest on this video.
Oh, this is the first I've heard.
If it gets 1,500 likes,
Whoa.
I will give away 10 free albums. So all you have to do is comment below and like the video.
Also, check out SurvivorCraft if you haven't already. It's Minecraft meets Survivor, and I'm in it. And you should cheer for me.
Bye. Bye, guys. Miss you a lot.
Jay, we gotta go.
Guys.
Jay.
Love ya.
It's time to go, Jay.
Guys.
Jay! The thing that you have to... What you guys have...
Oh, juice. Oh!
I burp farted while giving
I know, and I don't know.
I had cream cheese earlier.
It's sweet.
Ugh, it's cats. And then there's a...
Three kilobytes.